everyone. Welcome to another evening of Consciousness Cafe. We have a wonderful presenter lined up this evening. We'll talk a little bit about her, but and give her a chance to introduce herself. But unfortunately, there are some proprietary information that we're not going to be able to share with you this evening. Hopefully, we'll be able to have her back at a future date and talk more about this in a more recorded setting. So as you probably are aware, Consciousness Cafe was created by a number of us to facilitate people's exploration of their spiritual nature. There are a variety of different journeys that people can travel, and we're here to help people discern what's good for them, to provide a community for people to talk with one another and share their experiences. And we're happy to have you here this evening. So I'd like to introduce Anagha to you. Anagha and I met probably 3 years ago, I'm guessing at this point. She had been to the Monroe Institute, and somebody in Charlotte was coordinating a gathering of Monroe Institute alumni. And that's at that gathering, that's where I met Anagha. Anybody who's been to the Monroe Institute knows that it's a special place, and just the fact that somebody's been there tells you a lot about how open somebody is to the breadth of reality. Anagha will tell us a little bit about herself. I'm impressed that she's taking a path in her life, leaving corporate America to pursue her passion, and we'll hear more about that this evening. It's quite a leap of faith that she's taking, and we want to support her in that endeavor. So, Anagha, you want to take it from there?
Thank you, Jim.
Just let us know when you want us to stop the recording.
Okay. Is it recording? Because it doesn't show it's recording. Do you want me to hit record?
I believe it's recording now, isn't it, Mark?
Okay. Okay, it is.
Yes, that's correct.
Yep.
Wonderful. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Very good. Well, welcome everybody. Wonderful to meet you. And I want to start off by thanking Jim and Leslie and Mark for coordinating this. And thank you, Jim, for being such a wonderful spiritual mentor. And always your generosity is something I try to live up to. Thank you so much for doing all this.
You don't have any problem living up to anything. It's you're a great person.
Thank you. Well, and a big congratulations to all of you, because you're taking this time for self-growth, self-improvement, self-introspection. And you should be very happy that there are so many people in this world who are not here yet. And so you are. So congratulations to you. So today what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about what is it that you need to do to reach your highest potential. You know, what is our highest potential really? And what is it that we need to do to get there? So I'm going to tell you about what are the tools to get there, what's the secret sauce, and how I landed there so you can relate to it. Otherwise, if I just throw these tools at you, you might be like, where did this come from and why is it important? So I'm going to take you through my journey, how I landed there, how it is important for other people to know these tools and how they can leverage them to reach their higher potential. So do you know today is a special day? Today is a birthday of someone. Does anyone know? Anyone? No. So today is Lord Ganesh's birthday. Ganesh is that elephant god. You know, you go to many people's homes and you'll see this elephant god. And the significance of that deity is to remove obstacles and to start everything. They worship the Lord Ganesh. And anybody who visits India, somebody gifts you a Lord Ganesh. So that's his birthday today. So all over India, there's dances and people are shouting and people are eating and partying a lot today. So anyways, going back to our story here. I grew up in a convent school. So I went to a convent school called St. Helena's, and I have studied the Bible probably more than any of my friends here in the US. So we had 1 hour of Bible study when we went to school early in the morning. Our bus would reach, throw our bags in the classroom, go to the assembly hall, sing hymns, read the Bible. How does it apply to your life? What are you going to do? Everything. And then I grew up in a Hindu home. I thought I was Hindu. My mom and dad never talked to me about it. We didn't have any temples or shrines or anything we went to. And we did, although, celebrate all the Hindu festivals and the Christian festivals and the holidays and everything. So as I started growing up and questioning, I was a little bit confused. Like, am I Hindu? Am I Christian? Who am I? Or what is religion? What is spirituality? And my mother, she didn't care about religion. She really was caring about spirituality. She was always like, you know what? There's only one principle. The same God is in you, and the same God is in the next person who is with you. It's all the same. It's the same consciousness. It's the same soul. And when you love that same person, the person next to you, as much as you love yourself, that is when you really truly understood God. And that's what God is. That's what she told me every time I asked her about, what is God and who is God and what's religion and what's spirituality. That was always her answer. In fact, once I live in Charlotte here, and she lived in India, and I got a huge statue of Krishna shipped, and it's tall, it's really big, and just to ship that marble statue was such a big deal without getting any damages and everything. And I opened it and I was so excited, and I called my mom on FaceTime and I said, look at this, you know what? And I thought she's gonna say, whoa, my child is doing so much and praying to God and whatnot. And she goes, yeah, meh. I really want you to believe and understand consciousness is not in a wall or any inanimate object. It is in people. It's the same energy in the next person and the same energy in you. And it's all pervading, it's all over. And that's what consciousness is. So that's where I started getting into it deeper and deeper and trying to understand, really, does the soul exist? I mean, my mom says so, but I'm an engineer. I have 2 engineering degrees, and I have to prove everything, and I have to get a proof that the soul exists. So even though in India they study about the Gita, and the Gita's prime principle is that the soul cannot be destroyed, nothing can burn the soul, and the soul exists, and it's just moving from body to body. But where is it? Like, I still want proof. This is said in the books, but who knows who wrote the book? I don't know who wrote the book. And that was my journey. So I traveled, I worked in corporate America for 22 years. And through work and for vacations and everything, I've traveled quite a lot across the world. I'm a million miler now. And I've traveled to Turkey, to Rumi's land, trying to understand really what is consciousness? How do you grow this consciousness? Why are we here? I've gone to Muji in Portugal. I've gone to South India to Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, and one of those big spiritual lands of the sages. Wherever you go, everyone is meditating in that land. So I've been to many different places, learned many modalities, Reiki, hypnotherapy, pranayama, yoga, many things. And there was one question in my mind: does the soul exist? And after all this, and in fact, in the US, I met some mediums, and I found out, yes, the soul exists. Okay, I was wishy-washy first. Does it exist? Everyone says, but still, consciousness, and what does it mean? And it was all wishy-washy till then. But then there was a line in the sand. Some things did it for me, and yes, the soul does exist. But then the next question was, if the soul exists, then why are we here? Like, why is the soul limited in this body? And what are we here for? What is our life purpose? Do any of you have that question like me? What is our life purpose? You do? Yeah, so I had that question. And like a little child, I went and asked all my spiritual mentors, whoever was around me, who was more advanced than my soul. I went and asked Bill McDonald. I went and asked my teacher in India. I went and asked everyone. So what do you think? What is the purpose of life? And I'm not going to bore you with more, but the gist of the whole thing was, we're here for 3 things. The purpose of consciousness, the purpose of the soul, the purpose of us being on earth, this electromagnetic energy being in this body. There are 3 things. And I'll go slow if you want to make notes on this. It took me years of reading books and talking to so many people, but I had to distill it into one tangible, understandable thing for me so I can achieve and be tracking to my goals and saying I am working on it. So the first part, the first main goal is to evolve ourselves, to evolve this consciousness, to get to the next stage, to be the best versions of ourselves. So the first one is to evolve ourselves, to evolve this consciousness that is within us, to resonate to the highest frequencies. You do all these manifesting workshops, this, that, you won't need any of them. If you resonate to the highest frequency, which is like the God frequency, and you're away from anger and all those lower frequencies, then you don't need all these tools for manifesting because you are vibrating at that God frequency. So that's our goal. We want to rise there, we want to get up there. And that's that evolutionary journey for us. So that's number one. Number two is, as we were going through these many life and death cycles, we have collected many karmic debts. We've done some credits and debits and all these things, just like a bank account, we have those. And we do not know about them right now, but they are there. And so the second purpose, the second thing we are here for, is to nullify those karmic debts. So I don't want to owe anybody money, and I don't even want to be taking money or just donating without a purpose. I just want to be at zero. I really work towards that I don't want to owe anyone anything. So the karmic debts, nullifying them, is the second purpose. And the third one really goes hand in hand with the first one, is to love and serve, just to be of service. I mean, a lot of you on this call here, I know, do so much service. Jim, Mark, Leslie, even Louise, you all do so much service. And I have 2 children, and I'm still in those motherhood years, and I'm not able to do as much as I can, but that's my goal, to love and serve, to love your family, to do your duty towards your family, but also to do it towards others, because remember, the same God is in everyone. So you're literally serving the entire consciousness when you're loving and serving selflessly. So those are the 3 goals. Yeah, anyone have questions or want to add anything to that? No? Okay, so now what I did is I started thinking, all right, that's my goal. I have it here literally on the wall. These are my 3 goals. But then how do I reach my highest potential? How do I make the most of my time on earth? So all these tools that I learned, what I did is I started taking the best of them, and which ones am I going to use to get here, to reach my highest potential? And one of the, I'm going to tell you about 6 tools, which I think are really important. And it's a set of 3s and 3s, so you'll remember. So the first 3 tools that everyone knows about these, but they are really strong tools.
And Anna, do you want to stop the recording at this point, or do you want to continue on?
No, you can continue. When I start sharing the slides, then you can stop it. I have some slides and we'll do demos. And thank you for checking. Thank you. So first 3 tools are like cleaning a closet. You're just taking out all the dirty stuff and just throwing it out. Now it's our time. So the first tool in that is gratitude. Everyone knows about this, but really it's such a powerful tool, because when you get up in the morning, suppose you say, thank you for giving me one more day on earth in this body so I can work on my soul, I can work towards evolution. And you're obviously in a state of abundance. From scarcity, you're now moving to abundance. So your frequencies have risen up already. When you're in gratitude, nature gives you more. When you appreciate what you have, nature gives you more. When you're in gratitude, you're operating on the right side of your brain. And the Monroe Institute, they always say when you operate on the right side of the brain, you can manifest things so easily. So gratitude, it might sound like one word, but practice it and you will see how powerful it is. The second tool is forgiveness. So forgiveness is not for the other person, it's really for you. There's a selfish motive in forgiveness. So what happens is, when you love someone, you have an attachment to that person. You know, when you leave this body and go, a lot of souls are attached and they're still meddling, and some don't even know that they're dead because they're so attached, because they love these things, people, places, homes, everything. And so they're attached to these. But you would not believe it, the same effect is there when you have hatred with someone. You are equally attached to that person when you have hatred with that person. So what happens is, the way my spiritual teacher explains this to us is, it's like a cord. You know, you have a cord that's holding you back. So similarly, when you forgive, you cut the cord. When you forgive that person, and forgiveness is not just like, I forgive you, done. You know, it has to come from within. You truly have to ask yourself, do you really forgive that person? So forgiveness is is deep within, but it's a very selfish thing. It is not for the other person, it is for you. You are released of that hatred. You cut that cord of attachment. You are now free. You're like the helium balloon. You know, there's nothing holding you back anymore. So that's the second tool, forgiveness. Now the third tool, I bet you everyone uses in this group, and that's meditation. There are so many kinds of meditations I have learned, and it's very seasonal for me. You know, sometimes I use hemisync. Sometimes I just sit and I don't want to hear any voices, and I focus and focus inwards. I try to see the same universe outside and the same universe within me. Sometimes Rumi taught his dervishes a very nice way of whirling. You just go round and round, you tilt your head a little bit, and they used to whirl for about 16 hours in a row. And that is another way of meditation. Those are walking meditations. There are so many kind of meditations, but the goal of meditation is just to silence that noise. So these first three tools that I told you about, they are tools that help you really clean up, you know, cleaning the kitchen, cleaning the closet, however you want to look at it. They help you clean up. They help you move from that negativity and get away from it. Anything? Questions? Okay, now I'm going to tell you the other three tools, and we are actually going to give you a demo of all three of these tools after I'm done telling you these three tools, and then we'll stop the recording and I'll give you demos. So the next three tools, you know, I'm going to tell you about WildFit because Luis is here and Luis has to leave at 7:30. So if you have any questions, I'm going to tell you the next tool for me was WildFit. So I decided to be a vegetarian in 1997 when I understood why. You know, there are many issues with eating meat. They bring your frequencies down. You kill animals, this, that. You know, at that point, I quit because my brother told me I should quit. But I understood it later on why. But I was always malnourished. You know, I was traveling to all these countries, and people usually don't have vegetarian food. So I was eating carbs and sugars and carbs and sugars, and that's how my body operated. And because of that, I actually felt more tired. People will ask you, you're a vegetarian, you must be like so energetic. But no, it was not like that. I used to do lots of yoga exercises, breathing, meditation, but I was still tired at the end of the day. So this tool, number 4, WildFit, was a gift from God. I don't know why I did it, but I've done many weight loss programs in the past. You know, I've done Slimgenics, almost spent like $11,000, $12,000 on it, on multivitamins and blah, 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 and still put on weight after I completed the program. I've done Weight Watchers. There is Ayurveda in India. There are diets on Ayurveda. There's so many things, but none of the things addressed that you have to use willpower. You know, everything makes you use willpower to stop eating. Oh, that's sugar, don't eat it. That's not good for you. Oh, that's too many fats, don't eat this. Oh, that's this, don't eat this. And you're like, oh, but what? I really want to eat this. Sugar, this, my mom made this when I was little. Today I have to break all the rules and I have to eat this. And you know, WildFit gave me the freedom to eat whatever I wanted. And it was a program that made me so energetic because it focused on nourishing your body. And a healthy soul lives in a healthy body. And you would be amazed, you know, people who do WildFit, they don't get angry as much. They're naturally driven towards a spiritual path. I don't know what it is, but you're so much more pure. You don't crave for things anymore. You don't need willpower. My colleagues and friends, co-coaches, I decided to be a coach with WildFit because it was so beneficial. They have someone was battling third stage cancer, and she got over that because of WildFit. My friend Jennifer, her mother was battling dementia, and her dementia slowed down. Her husband's blood pressure medication, he is 67 or something, completely went away. And then weight loss was a bonus, they lost 40, 50 pounds and all that. So this was my tool number 4. Tool number 5 is a tool that I have used to find out my life purpose. And like Jim told you, I was traveling all over. I was in a corporate job and I was quite successful. I was the vice president of marketing and engineering teams, and they were global teams. And people look at me and go like, "Wow!" And I didn't feel it within. I'm like, "Yeah, but this doesn't feel right because you're going and pushing someone to make more numbers. You're pushing them to stay later and get their work done. This is against the flow. This is not me. This just doesn't feel like me." So I was still searching, and I came across a tool that I'm going to give a demo of later. So I'm not going to get too much into the depth of this right now. But this tool used my biological or biometrics. And through my biometrics, it told me how my brain was wired during gestation in my mother's womb. And through that, I found out areas of my brain, my talents that I never knew about. And then it was all like, oh yeah, it makes sense. So imagine, it was so big for me that 22 years of corporate life, I've worked toward this, got 2 engineering degrees, MBA, this, that, all that. And it was so strong for me that I said, no more. I'm not going back to corporate America, and I'm going to live my life purpose. This is what God has made me biologically, and I'm going to work towards my life purpose. So there's no longer going against the flow. There's no longer fighting with your own self. There's no longer like, I can't wake up tomorrow. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired because now you're just working on what your body's made for. Now you're working on what you love. So it never feels like work because you're having fun now. And everyone talks about it, but really it is a scientific way to find it. And I'm going to give you a demo in a little bit. So that was that tool. And then the 6th and the last tool I'm going to tell you about is called pranayama. And a very famous person does this. He is Indian. Does anybody know about a famous person who does breath work or breath yoga? Who's Indian? Oh, he's the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. So they have the summit going on there, and he even talked about this breathwork practice in there, and he does it, and he talks about it to the whole country. And this breathwork practice is all encompassing for me. I'm going to give you a demo. We're going to do half an hour of this breathwork practice. It is called Pranayama. So prana means the life force, the consciousness that is within us, and Yama is the practice. Ayama is practice, or you keep practicing it, you keep exercising it, you keep evolving it so you can reach the next stage. And pranayama is good for the mind. Obviously, so many issues of the mind go away. You have more memory, focus, concentration. You have more energy. Digestive issues go away. And my personal story, why I embrace this tool and why I know it works, because I couldn't sit in meditations and just focus and my mind would still wander, and I would be fighting with my mind. Why are you wandering? Where are you going? And the whole time was just like a battle with my mind. So I didn't like silent meditations. I loved hemisync meditations, but I fell asleep in every single hemisync meditation. And pranayama is something that my mother practiced for about 13 years. And she had kidney disease. Both her kidneys had failed. And every doctor who would see her would be like, you come here tomorrow or next month, and we'll get you on those fistula and everything. We'll put the fistula, and then you can get dialysis done. And she'd be like, nope, I'm going to do pranayama. and I'm going to make it through. And she did this for 11 years. She did not have dialysis for 11 years because she did the breathwork practice and controlled and kept her body so healthy. If you saw her, you couldn't tell that her creatinine was so high. She would get calls from Canada, from people here and there who heard about her, and they would be on the phone and ask her, show me how, I want to learn about this. And the intent of pranayama, and Jim has come, Nicole is on the call, and they have also come to my pranayama classes, but not full scale. So the intent is to improve your mind, your body, and your soul. It works on everything. It's a active meditative practice that oxygenates your blood. It can be done anywhere. It's not hard to do. You don't need to lift weights, this, that, nothing. It's so easy to do. And if you do it every day for 20 minutes, your life will change. Just do it consistently every day for 20 minutes, and you will have so much energy. I'm going to disclose a secret to you. I go to bed around 12 o'clock and I'm up by 3, and I have trouble by 4:30. I'm like, okay, that's it. I can't be in bed anymore because I'm so energetic, and my body is, it has got all the rest it needs. So the more pranayama you do, you will be more and more energetic. You might become a nuisance for others too because you have so much energy and they're like, okay, I just want to sit. Please just calm down. So the other story I want to share is my father's story. So my father, because my mom had kidney disease, my mother would have a coach. He would come home every day and he would sit with her in the morning from 7 to 8. And she would do pranayama and he would teach her all these exercises. And my dad would go, bye, I'm going to work, to the coach and my mom. And the coach would go, yeah, bye, Mr. More, bye. And after a month, he started saying, your wife is so sick. Don't you ever care to sit down with your wife and not go to work and do this exercise with her? And he'd go, yeah, you carry on, whatever works for her. I don't want to sit. And he kept pushing him for a month. And my dad was this person who's like, he would get angry once in a while. He was like in a rush. He would do many things, multitask this and like super energetic guy, but not the calmest of people back then. And then because of this coach, he started sitting with my mom and started doing pranayama. And by that time, my dad had also figured out his purpose on earth. And he said, you know what, my kids are out of the home. I have enough money to run this home. And now I'm going to do social work and social service. So he runs a social service organization. They have 100 women who work there and they serve others day and night. They feed 1,500 kids every single day. They do several initiatives. But the point is, pranayama raises your frequency so much. You don't need any manifestation technique. My dad, whatever he says just happens and happens on his own because he does pranayama. And he's not the best student of pranayama either. He does it for 30 minutes every day without fail, but he won the Guinness World Record. Whatever he says effortlessly happens. And this will happen with you. You try out this tool for 21 days and things will come in front of you automatically. And one day he just said, yeah, we're thinking we'll go for the Guinness World Record. And this is the world record. They collected 293,000 clothes in one day. Their organization collects clothing and they recycle it and they give it to people who need it. So he just effortlessly said it. And after 2 weeks, he sends this picture holding the Guinness World Record thing, the team with him. And I'm like, he just said it to me so casually. How can this be possible? This is such a big deal. And I tell you this story because anything is possible. When you raise your frequencies and you start living to your highest potential, everything and anything becomes possible. So I'll pause here and let me know if you have questions. Does anyone have questions from Louise? So let me introduce Louise to you. Louise is my coach, or she takes care of WildFit. What I decided to do is these 3 tools that I told you in the end: WildFit, the bioprints, and then pranayama. I have made it my life purpose. When I understood what my life purpose is, I have dedicated my life now to teaching this to the world and helping others reach to their highest potential. And that is what I do full time now. So Louise is our wild fit coach on my company is called the Tuning Fork, and Louise is the wild fit coach on it. And she has a new program starting on the 25th. It's a 13-week program. Louise, do you want to add anything on the wild fit program?
A few things, and you mentioned earlier that I had to leave at 7:30. If you noticed, you guys, that I picked up my phone, I wrote to the other group, I'll be a little late, because I love hearing Anagha, and I love the collaboration. She came to me because, as she mentioned, she also she took the WildFit program and how it changed her, but then she decided to become a coach. And she reached out to me asking for a little bit of mentorship. And boy, it's gone way beyond that, apart from, just a real connection between the two of us. And you just mentioned the importance of body, mind, and spirit. And like our soul has to live in this vehicle. And when I'm coaching the WildFit program, it's 90 days, it's 3 months. It's transformational. I mean, I just got off a call with a couple, and he's almost finished the program and totally off his diabetes medication. His wife said, Louise, my list of things that are better is so long, I'll take up all the time, like everything from no more inflammation. She had 2 autoimmune diseases. She doesn't have that anymore. They had both released or lost quite a bit of weight. And one of them, well, he said, he reminded me that when I talked to him about taking the program, I said something about, I had just flown out to see my cousin in California, and she wanted me to see, I'm Canadian, by the way, but I now live in the Dominican Republic, right close to the ocean. So anyway, I'm very happy here. And Anagha, yes, is going to come and visit me. But so this gentleman said, after you got back from California, you told us about what happened with your cousin. Well, my cousin she's a spiritual director. She has many, many directees under her, and comes from a Christian background, but goes way, way beyond that now. She was giving a retreat for spiritual directors. And she said, come to one of our meetings. So I came, and I was amazed. Of the 30 people in the room, I'd say at least 20 of them were hugely overweight, were not falling asleep, but did not seem vibrant to me. I kept all this to myself. So I go back to the house with my cousin Lucy, and she said, I want you to introduce WildFit to them. Well, I did. And of the group that was there, in 2 different 90-day sessions, I saw 15 of them, like I think 7 or 8 in one group and whatever in the other group. Without exception, every single one of them said that their spiritual practice, some said, the messages they got from God, everything that they did was so enhanced because they had cleaned up their body. So their vehicle, where their soul was so cleaned up. If you're not into that world, I mean, I feel free talking about that here. I wouldn't necessarily talk about it to because a lot of people take the program. They want to release 50 pounds. They want to get rid of IBS or whatever, cancer issues, as Anagha mentioned before. But what they said was basically, it's just elevated them. Anagha, you can add to this if you want. it was brought them up to this vibration where they could communicate better, both with your higher self, but also with the people that they were directing. So anyway, my client that I just spoke to reminded me that that's why he joined the program. We hadn't talked about it very much during the program. But he expounded on the fact that, Louise, we had so much fun in your groups and this and this and this. And he said, and now my spiritual life is so much better. So he was really, really brought it to the forefront. So when Anagha asked me if I would come and listen to her, because I want to learn more and more about her and be part of your group this evening, I did it with pleasure. So the next program, and maybe none of you would be interested in going that route, really, really finding out first of all, why you eat what you eat, the reasons why you do it, and finding out what is best for you, which is very different. It's not a diet. Let's clear that up right away. Not a diet. It's what is best for you. So if you're interested, obviously reach out to Anagha. Program starts, as I said, next Monday. It finishes before Christmas. You'll be all new by then. But if not, there might be somebody that you know that could benefit from either just the physical change or the body, mind, and spirit change that this program does. Anagha and I will be coaching it. What is really nice is I'll do mostly the nutrition and that part of it, and she will be bringing in the breath work and a lot of other modalities that help people along their path. Back to you, Anagha.
Stephen has a question.
Mute myself. There we go. I do. Excellent presentation, by the way, most informative. But on the topic of forgiveness, now, and I understand very well that forgiveness is at the heart of our ultimate realization. Yet, as you rightly said, it's somewhat glib to say, oh, I forgive him or her, or forgive whatever. And that seems to be at a surface level. But there's still, to me, it's not enough. Is there some technique that one can drill down, if you know what I mean, get down to the core and release that burden?
Yes, that's a great question. There is a Hawaiian technique. Does anyone know about Ho'oponopono? You all know about Ho'oponopono? And Ho'oponopono is really simple. It is saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And that's it. That's the prayer. And you can say it many, many times. And you can read about Morna, and you can read about this forgiveness prayer and how powerful and why it is so powerful. It releases your soul of all those karmic debts. It helps you progress. And this was done, this came to the world because of a doctor, a physician, or a psychiatrist. He was assigned to the prison in Hawaii. And he had nobody stayed in that. None of the doctors would stay there for more than 3 months. They would leave their job and go because the prisoners were so crazy, and they would drive the doctor nuts. And he used this technique, and he cured all the prisoners. He didn't even go to the prison. He just took down their names, and on behalf of them, he did the forgiveness prayer. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that prison has closed now. And there's nobody in that prison because he worked and he helped every prisoner himself and everyone. And their forgiveness has, guess what it has done. So look into it if you want. And if you want, email me and I can send you those Ho'oponopono meditations. Or you can just literally take a bracelet that you might wear and just go, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Sometimes you fight with your loved ones and just connect your third eye to their third eye. Just close your eyes. You don't have to go to them and say, when I said this to my husband, he often cracks up laughing. So you don't have to go and say it to someone. Just connect your third eye, close your eyes, imagine you're connected, and just say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, very easy technique. And so it becomes a mantra then, and say it often enough so that spectre becomes null and void.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. Thank you.
All right. I am ready to share a couple of demos of these tools if you would like. And Mark, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you to pause recording.